Let me at this time yield to the gentlelady from Massachusetts, Congresswoman Pressley.
For how much time?
30 seconds.
The gentlewoman from Massachusetts is recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Families are in crisis, food pantry lines around the block, rent is due again in 8 days. The community health centers and hospital workers in my district are desperate. This is a crisis within a crisis, exacerbating every inequity that already existed. This chamber will determine how many more lives we are robbed of. Now is not the time for backpats. Our nation is crying out, the people are crying out, and we must answer their cries in the CARES 4 package with a bill that puts the people first. Now is not the time to rest. We took an oath. People are counting on us. They deserve health care, economic, housing justice. We cannot continue to leave out our immigrant neighbors, minority small businesses.
Gentlewoman's time has expired.
Thank you.
Lady from New York, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez.
The gentlewoman from New York is recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And on behalf of my constituents in the Bronx and Queens, New York's 14th Congressional District, the most impacted district in America, calling people, losing their families every day. It is a joke when Republicans say that they have urgency around this bill. The only folks that they have urgency around are folks like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and Shake Shack. Those are the people getting assistance in this bill. You are not trying to fix this bill for mom and pops, and we have to fight to fund hospitals, fighting to fund testing. That is what we're fighting for in this bill. It is unconscionable. If you had urgency, you would legislate like rent was due on May 1st and make sure that we include rent and mortgage relief for our constituents. Thank you very much.
Members are reminded to direct their comments to the chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. People in my state of Minnesota are hurting. And I'm sure everyone represents a state that is hurting. It is indefensible for us not to support, to replenish the PPP. But it's also indefensible for us not to focus on replenishing the coffers of Americans and focus on making sure they are able to support paying their rent, making sure that our cities and states are not going bankrupt, and making sure American families are not dying of hunger. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentleman from Michigan is recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This bill is only necessary because in the last bill, Republicans prioritized a $500 billion gift to corporations that turned around and laid off workers who bailed them out. Our people need us to prioritize public health and testing, and they need reoccurring monthly relief payments now. This is Skylar Herbert. You need to see her face because there needs to be a human face to this pandemic. She's 5 years old, died from coronavirus. Skylar loved dressing up and performing, and she loved and adored being in kindergarten. Her death should be a wake-up call that we must act in urgency. Her father, a firefighter, her mother, a police officer, first responders, and the amount of guilt that they feel because maybe they didn't have access to testing, and that's exactly why they're out there telling her story every single day. Please, let's act now in urgency.
I yield the gentlelady an additional minute.
I urge my colleagues to please do more to save lives. It is immoral for us to walk away and take a month off when people, our neighbors, are dying and losing loved ones. So in memory of Skylar, in honor of her, please, let's expand public health funding and testing for everyone. Thank you so much.
Gentleman from Texas reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts.